big family in the industry. Thanks for everyone for making it.
So many Italians.
I know. Some of you may have joined the kickoff of Joseph's show yesterday. He has come to Hong Kong not only to support us at Joyce, but he also graciously accepted to host his upcoming season's collection show here in Hong Kong Center Stage, as I think quite a few of you saw. Actually, one thing that I wanted to note to you, Joseph, Center Stage has been working very hard to position a stronger voice for Hong Kong fashion, and we are very touched that you came on a leap of faith to support our city.
Yeah, was happy to.
Also, obviously, at a very close date to your show, which is coming up on the 28th, as I think most of you know. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. So I'm sure Joseph doesn't take much introduction, especially a lot of you here who are also familiar with his collections. But one thing in January when we launched your 10-year capsule, it's surprising that it's been a blink of an eye that your brand is 10 years old. It's scary.
It's scary.
You've been the staple brand at the world's most obviously important fashion accounts. Hint, hint. Here as well. How does that feel looking back the 10 years that you've been?
You know, I think it's been a really interesting time to be in fashion, just because so much is changing, and I think a lot of the ways that when I started the business, we would, conduct business have really changed. Social media has changed so much, and the way the customer is sort of interacting with brands has changed so much. But I think one thing that still is a mainstay for me is that I love my job, and I love fashion, and I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what we all love. We all just want to see really beautiful product, and I think that's something that I still really hold dear after 10 years.
That's great. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I think since the very beginning, especially on a retailer's perspective, what really excited us about you and about your brand. Of course, I think that also led up to lots of CFDA awards that you've had, is the sensuality, of course, of your design. I'm wearing one of Joseph Altuzar's dresses today. But what's also really impressive is the consideration of the construction to be grounded in the pragmatism of it being a piece of clothing that someone's going to wear.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, a lot of designers have been a little bit out of touch with that.
Yeah.
What we do want to know, actually, because we have these conversations with designers as well that are less in touch with that, what is your philosophy behind that, and is there obviously a very deliberate approach on your design for that?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is that I'm very aware that I'm a man designing for women, and so a big part of my job is being a good listener and observing my customer, and I'm very lucky to work with a lot of women who give me a lot of feedback, and I think for me, when I started the brand, I loved fashion, I loved creating beautiful things, but I also didn't want to just create something for a fashion show.
Right.
I wanted to create something that women would want to wear, and especially today, because we're so much more aware of sustainability and the amount of product that we're all consuming and that we're all making. I think it's important to be making clothes that have a purpose and that are not disposable, that are things that will stay in a woman's wardrobe for a really long time, and that's still something that I think is really important.
It's hard to always be self-assured, obviously, over the years of industry changes. There are always panic moments within our industry as well. Had there ever been any very important trends that you were very tempted to ride on but resisted?
Oh my God, sneakers.
Sneakers?
No, I mean, it's hard because you do see these macro trends, right? You're like, oh my God, streetwear and sneakers, and when Phoebe started at Celine, it was like everything was super minimal.
Right.
And you know, stores would be like, oh, you need to be like more minimal. You need to be everything needs to be cleaner. I think you do learn. One lesson I've learned over 10 years is that you do have to sort of listen to your own voice and know who your customer is. And you know, I think if a customer wants to buy a sweatshirt, like they should go to Off-White buy a sweatshirt, and they should not come to Altuzarra to buy a sweatshirt because Off-White is going to do it better. They're going to do it cheaper. They should come to Altuzarra for tailoring or for like a really cool new bag or you know, a really beautiful like feminine dress. But I think you sort of have to know who you are and what you stand for, and just like believe in yourself.
It's hard to achieve.
It's hard.
It's hard to focus.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it sounds like an obvious thing, but it takes a lot of courage to stay consistent because obviously when you saw everyone start to go really minimal and you're like, oh, am I missing the boat on something?
Yeah.
But obviously you've had the courage to say, this is what I'm good at, this is what I do. What do you think is the biggest strength of the Altuzarra brand? And definitely, what do you think is the biggest learning looking back to 10 years as well?
I think the biggest strength is that we are talking to, I think we are very close to our customer and we know her really well, and there's a huge untapped market of women who are working and who have busy lives and have to take their kids to school and who need clothes that work for them. Who we are addressing directly, and I see it when I do trunk shows, when I meet customers. I think there is, you know, not everyone wants to be in streetwear. Like some women want clothes that are more polished and they want to feel more dressed, and I think that's a strength for Altuzarra. I think what I've learned over the last 10 years is to be true to myself. And to listen to myself. I don't know, yeah.
Well, and something new as well, actually, to keep moving and exploring new categories. So we've been hearing a lot about the clay bag.
Yeah.
Which we're here, we're launching here today, thank you. And we're excited to see the collection here with us. I did hear, especially from your teams, about a very long R&D process that you guys had on this, especially when you talk about how you want to make sure it fits the everyday of a woman's lifestyle, which evolves, and it actually exponentially increases in the things they do today. So can you tell us a little bit about the story of?
Yeah, so when we started working on this bag, I really told my team, you know, I was like, it's gonna take as long as it needs to take, and even if, you know, stores are asking us to see it and to release it, we're just gonna keep on working on it until we feel like it's done. So it really took like almost 2 years to develop the bag, to test it, and initially I really wanted something that was like, that felt different from anything else on the market. I wanted something that had like a softness that you could wear in a lot of different ways. Like you can wear it on your shoulder, you can wear it across your body. It can be a handheld, and I wanted something that you could stuff and just put a lot of your things in, but still look very polished. And I think, you know, part of the story of the bag is, it's called the play bag because it's very playful, but there was also a kind of like S&M inspiration. Like we were looking at a lot of Mapplethorpe imagery when we were designing it, and so there's a sort of like slightly more seductive connotation to it as well. And I think it sort of shows the two facets of Altuzarra. Like I think there is like a kind of polished side, but there is this very like sensual, more like a little darker side as well.
After the presentation, please feel free to go up there and get your hands all over them and try them on.
So, of course, I'm bringing this back a little bit to your 10-year capsule, which has been launched a while ago, but it was really great for us to see the timeline of Joseph Altuzarra expressed through these different women. Can you tell us a little bit about these women for the audience who may not know?
Yeah. So we did, for the 10-year anniversary, we did a capsule collection. we asked 10 women who were kind of friends of the house to pick one look from the last 10 years, and we would reproduce it, and we had a shoot, and we had some really wonderful people. We had Gary Noatfel did it, and Cindy Levy, Evan Rachel Wood, India Moore, Sarah Rutson. We had I think it was a great group of women, and I think what was really so nice about that whole capsule was that it really made me realize that a lot of our pieces are seasonless in a lot of ways. I think they can stay in someone's wardrobe and they can be incorporated into your life no matter what the trend is. And I think a lot of customers responded to that as well.
Are any of them particularly your mentors, or do you have any kind of mentors throughout your career that you've been inspired by?
I've had people give me great advice.
Right.
I mean, Anna from the very beginning was very supportive, and Cathy Noatfel was really supportive. Tom Ford has given me really good advice. I don't know that I have one person,
Right.
but I think the kind of misconception about the fashion industry, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, is that sometimes from the outside people feel like this industry is so mean, and that
Right.
people are not supportive of each other. I've actually had the complete opposite
Oh, okay.
experience. I feel like I've had so many friends in this industry and so many designer friends, and we all support each other and we are there for each other during the hard times. And I think that's actually a really wonderful thing about the fashion community. And I hope it's not only my experience,
Right.
but I do think it's something that people perceive from the outside. It's not necessarily true.
I asked that because it's a starting point for me to also think about how you take someone that you're really inspired by or who really helped you along your career, and obviously now that Joseph Altuzarre as a brand is a very mature staple, how do you pay that forward to the next generation of designers?
Yeah.
I know that you have been working on this show with Amazon
Yeah.
called Making the Cut. I think some of you have heard of that as well. It's a very big effort, definitely we see of paying it forward as well, but what are some?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's really important. I was very much helped by people who were in the industry and who, when I had no money and I was my showroom is in my living room, and who really helped me out. And I think it was really important for me at this stage in my career to help young designers. So I am filming. I just finished filming a show for Amazon Prime, which is called Making the Cut. It's a great set of judges because it's me and Naomi Campbell and Chiara Ferrani and Nicole Ritchie, and Gary Noatfel is a guest judge. And I think it's a great kind of showcase for young designers, and it's a great way of sort of helping out a new generation of talent.
Did you learn something from that experience, just in terms of how different the dynamic is for the newer comers, or do you see a very similar pattern that you had to go through?
I mean, you
More
do.
difficult, or?
I learned a lot. I learned a lot about cameras and audio equipment. I learned a lot about, I learned about, how hard it is to be a young designer today. And I think social media has made things really easy in a lot of ways,
Okay.
because it's, there's no third party anymore. It's not like the magazines really are the keepers of the keys
Right.
as much. A lot of designers are speaking to their customers directly. But it's also, social media has made it really hard because there's so much noise.
Right.
There's so much information, and people spend a second on a picture, and then they just keep on scrolling through. So for a lot of designers, it's about cutting through the noise and trying to make a mark, but also having staying power and not being like a flash in the pan. And that, you know, in the end, and I think it sort of goes back to what I was saying before, in the end, people will always respond to good, well-designed product. Like, no matter how you market it, no matter, it's like if you put something on, you know, I don't know, if you put something on an influencer and it's like, in person it's ugly and it's not the right price and it doesn't fit, it's not gonna sell. So you have to have like the right pieces, or the right sort of components and the right like emotion behind the product for it to work.
I think it's about the integrity of actually how long do you want your brand to be around as well,
Totally,
right?
yeah.
I think it's a lot of that the younger designers also need to learn about.
Yeah.
Because there are these kind of internet sensations that disappear
Yeah.
tomorrow. It's true. It's something that we're very careful about as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it's a struggle for us too, because suddenly when one of the brands are really hyped, tomorrow it's gone. The
Yeah.
replacement it's a long search to
Yeah.
find someone. That's why.
Yeah.
It's the integrity of that we really want.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Thank
for that.
you.
Does anyone have any questions for Joseph?
You don't have to.
Well, thank you everyone for coming.
Thank
And
you.
thank you.